Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Try a Little Tenderness. We had an exciting show planned for you, but because of a little small hiccup, we weren't able to air on Tuesday. But we are live and in Blessed 24/7, which is housed in the Kingdom Square Shopping Center. I can't wait for you to meet these two young ladies. They are a blessing to me and my family. We are definitely supporters of this store, and I invite you, I challenge you to come in. We're going to have the owner of Blessed 24/7 come over with us momentarily. She's actually ministering right now, but we're located off of Central Avenue, and I can't wait for you all to meet her, and she's going to give you all the details, all the ins and outs. But one of the wonderful things that I love about even coming into the store is that ministry is first and foremost in this store. It is so wonderful to come in. It's such a peaceful place. You can just come in and sit down and just chit chat with them, and they will bless you. You can walk out with a smile on your face. You can walk out with tears in your eyes, but the tears are tears of release, tears of joy, tears of healing when you walk out of this place. I'm telling you. It's a very exciting place. They have girls' night in going on right now, so that's the background. So we're going to get our tech person to take them down just a little bit. But I am your host for Try a Little Tenderness. We are here every Tuesday and Friday at 8 p.m. Come on in, come on in. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Wanda Childs. Come on in, girl. How are you? Welcome.
I was getting blessed.
I saw you over there ministering. But welcome to Try a Little Tenderness.
Well, I need a little tenderness.
Well, that's what we try to establish here on our program, our show. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Wanda Childs. I tell you, she has such a wonderful testimony, but we're going to come back and do an entire show with her. So she's just going to give us a little snippet right now, just a little teaser. But I just wanted to share her testimony with you because it's such a help, or should I say a footstool up in the right direction, especially during these economical times where people are losing their jobs and their homes. And if you could just share a little bit, and let me slow down because I know you come from a long line of in your family of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I just want you to share a little bit about this wonderful establishment, Blessed 24/7, and how it got started.
Well, it came to me over 15 years ago in my spirit while going through trials and tribulations. The Lord would tell me that no matter what I'm going through, I'm blessed all the time. It never was 24/7, it was all the time. You're always blessed. I'm covering you always, every day of the week, every moment. And I translated that into 24/7. And so I came up with the concept to walk around in my heart so that when trouble came my way, I would remember that, and I would be reminded that I'm blessed 24/7.
Right.
Well, it would take me 8 years to figure out really what God was doing.
8 years.
It was in my belly for 8 years. When I birthed that baby, it was full grown. And so it turned out that was a concept of a ministry that I would start. But the ministry is in the form of a gift shop.
Right.
So what I do is I sell merchandise that has the message, the reminder that we are all blessed 24/7. That God covers us. He watches over us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so I started a product line, and I own the logo, the rights to it through the entire United States. So no one can sell merchandise under the Blessed 24/7 name except for me. I actually went through the United States Trademark and Patent Office and obtained the rights, and the Lord would have me start a gift shop. But that's the quick one. We'll talk later about how I got fired and all that good stuff. And I'm smiling now, but when I got fired, it was horrible.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait for you all to hear the full testimony about this. Now also, you also have a printing business on top of
the
Blessed, or should I say underwriting Blessed 24/7. Just tell a little bit about your printing
Well,
business.
the printing company came first.
Oh, okay.
The printing company is 17 years old. God had me in training, and I didn't know this. So the printing company is a company that I print for other people. Family reunion T-shirts, keychains, banners with your logo. Well, I was trained up as a printer. That wasn't my job. That wasn't my 9 to 5. It was a side business I started. But who knew that printing company, while I'm printing for other people, who knew that God was going to give me a logo that required printing? And so who does the printing for the gift line? Me, my printing company.
Okay.
So I'm doing business with me. Even if I can't find anyone else to do business with me, I get to do business with me.
All right. So you all, is it for-profit and non-profit together helping each other?
They're both for-profit.
Okay.
Yeah, I never stopped the printing company because I still have customers who need printing.
All right.
And because of that, I will continue. That's a source of income. I'm now self-employed, so you never cut off a revenue that's
Multiple
working.
lines of income. I tell you, that's one thing you got to
not cut it off. And I really can't, because when I need things printed for the gift shop, I still have to have that printing company existing.
So you go to yourself.
I go to myself.
Wow, I love it.
Get things printed.
You got to think like that. You have to think like that.
Multiple streams of income.
Multiple.
Yes.
And we limit ourselves because we don't think multiple streams of
Well, we have to
income.
realize sometimes one is up, one is down.
Right.
So you have to have that. And I actually have a third one, which is a foundation. And that's a nonprofit.
Okay.
I named it Blessed 24/7 Foundation. And what I'm doing is I'm helping others in the community who want to be entrepreneurs. So I teach how to start a business from ground zero.
Okay.
And then I teach how to write your first book.
Right.
And why did I pick these two? Because people came to me first and said, sit with me, train me, I want to sit under you, mentor me. And I thought, well, I'm trying to run 2 companies. I really don't have the time to stop what I'm doing in the day-to-day. And someone said, well, start a nonprofit and help me then. And so I did. I did. And so now I have seminars that I teach on both subjects.
Wow. Wow. Now, before we really get into it, did you hear what she said? She has a book. So the title, your book is entitled
Pushed Into My Purpose.
Is That Not Healing on It? That could just make you shout right there. Pushed Into My Purpose.
And the subtitle is How God Moved Me from Fear to Victory.
From fear to victory.
I was afraid. I was scared to death. I was so afraid, and to move from that place of fear to victory, to walk in victory where you really can't appreciate it until you have walked in fear.
Oh my goodness.
And it's just, it's an awesome testimony. And I wrote the book really to heal and deliver myself from my troubles. And who knew it was going to bless someone else? Who knew?
Well, I'll tell you 2 things. I met you maybe 20? Was it 20? It's been a while, maybe 15. We were at a Sage conference. You were a vendor.
How long ago?
Maybe 15. Really? Was it 15? You were just starting out. You were vending.
Okay.
You didn't have a store yet. And Edna Owens was doing a Sage conference in Virginia.
That sounds familiar.
And First Lady Edna Owens. And you were on the back table, and you were there the entire time. And then I started seeing the purple ribbon logo. And I said, this woman is everywhere. I mean, purple ribbon and cars everywhere, magnets just everywhere. And I was like, that's right, be blessed 24/7. Then I started seeing shirts.
Yeah.
And then I saw you again at another vending spot. But then I heard you on the radio.
Oh, wow.
I heard your testimony. It was one day, I can't remember what was going on, but it was a bad day because I was crying. I do remember that. And Marsha was on with you.
Okay, I remember that.
I called in and I won the book. And it was sent to
That was you? You are kidding me.
I won the book. And I was so tickled.
You are kidding me. I remember that day. Yes.
Yes, I won the book. I was so excited. So now to be sitting here interviewing you, it's just so amazing. Wow. Just overcoming your fear and then to be pushed into your purpose. I think I read the book. I got it that day. I think I remember driving and still reading at the stoplight. You know, like, okay, I got to do this. Okay, let's do this. And just following, step by step and how it changes your life. Never, ever thinking I was going to meet you again. Because I did meet you the 3rd time. We were in Chesapeake Bay. And it was so funny because Wanda had her hair back in a ponytail, and then I was like, you need to meet this lady on the back of this book. And she said, I am the lady on the back of the book. And I have a horrible time of putting people together like that. I can't see. And I am the lady. And it was so funny. I was like, are you sure you Wanda Childs? You're like, yes, I am.
No, that's funny.
But it was such a healing for me, just the book, and I still have it. I still have it on our book. What's it called? Bookshelf. So we have a lot of books, just some autographs, some not, but certain books that I always put back so I could pull it, refer to it, get reignited, rebooted to get back into the swing of things. Because it's easy to drop the ball or get discouraged. But I come in here, and I'm sharing with you before you came over that I come in here. I don't always come in to purchase anything. I might come in just to say hello. But you leave out feeling released. You leave out feeling healed. That it's more than just a gift shop or a hat boutique. These ladies are your friend. They will pray with you. They will pray for you. They will. I'm telling you,
cry with you.
They will, honey. They will cry with you. And I mean, some women in here. I just
finished crying with the customer. Yes.
But even the fact of the testimony while we were setting up for the show, the testimony, because you have Girls Night In once a month. And the testimony the young lady just shared is a story that I've been telling my husband. There's no reason why, God has these mansions being built all over, and now they're in foreclosure, and we can't possess the land like the word says. And when she shared that she's in a $400,000 house, and she's only paying $700, you can't tell me that's not God.
That's the God we know.
That's the God we know. That's the God we love. That's the God we serve. And I tell you, it is totally awesome. Now, before you leave, because she's entertaining while she's doing that, and we're going to switch them out. We're going to have Miss Teresa come over. I want to make sure I have everything that I want to share with you this evening. Now, what was the greatest lesson that you learned this past year for your life?
Past year?
In 2011.
Year. To trust God, even when the bank account says zero.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
To understand that I'm struggling, but I'm not losing.
And you're moving forward.
I'm struggling, but I'm not losing. You know how you go to a fight, you got to fight. But doesn't someone walk away to win it?
Yes.
But you both were still in a fight.
Both were still in a fight.
Okay, but when the winner wins, he won. Yeah. But he was still in a fight.
He was still in the fight.
So I'm struggling, but I'm not losing. And I learned to accept that. And I'm struggling for a purpose. The Lord told me that I was going to be on the battlefield for Him, not the playground. See, I was looking for the playground.
Right.
I thought it was all good when you're on the playground, because now you're going to be on the battlefield for me, but you're not going to lose. And so that was my lesson, to accept it, that wherever I am now, it's not going to always be like this. I work so hard. I have sleepless nights, not because I cannot sleep, because I just didn't go to bed yet.
Right.
Mornings I wake up and, did I eat today? And the tears that flow from my eyes because no one sees how hard I'm working. And no one appreciates it. That's just what I'm thinking. And God says, no. I see you.
I got you.
So that was my greatest lesson, to accept my struggle and know that it's a training camp for me. It's a training, because one day I'm going to be sitting on the beach just doing nothing.
And Blessed 24/7 is still
it's going to be running itself. And I won't be, like, what am I going to do today? I think I'll cross my legs this way. Okay. And then sit back and take some more sun.
Right.
I mean, really, I work hard, but I know it's going to come a day where it's just going to be really relaxed. And that's what I want. That I could just go out and just bless someone. Just in a grocery store. Tell them, I put that on add it all up. That's okay.
Put that on my tag.
Yeah, and have people turn around and don't even know who I am. But don't worry about it.
Oh, like the young lady that's there to share their testimony about
the book.
Yes.
I want to be that person. I'm going to be that person.
Now, I did that yesterday, and it was just a simple quarter. It was a quarter, because it's one of the stores you go to, you have to put a quarter in to get the card. But the lady looked so astonished because I said, oh, don't worry about it. You don't want you? No, I don't want to go to take the card. You should. And she was just looking, just could not believe that someone would offer that. I'm like, baby doll, it's just a quarter. And I mean, I'm not in a position to be giving away any money, but I mean, it's just a quarter. But just the act of kindness.
Thank you.
The random act of kindness, if you try it, it's a wonderful
liberate.
Yes,
it's contagious. She's going to bless somebody else. You won't.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we switch out, I just want to show you a few things that Wanda has in the store. Just a few. Now this is me favorites.
That's the #1 seller.
And she told me how she makes it. Oh my goodness, it's so awesome. And the beautiful beading on it. Woo!
Yeah.
She can make this for you, ladies. I know we have some wonderful women conferences coming up. And you want them walking in the Word.
That's right.
And then, for your little one.
Yeah.
She has all ages covered. Now, what I didn't grab, and I probably should have. You want to grab it for me, babe? The jersey. I didn't grab it.
Oh, okay.
Look
at
hometown.
Yeah,
look at this. Is this a computer case?
Yes, it's a computer. Yep, it's a computer bag. I have one that I bring in every day. That's what I carry
It's
my
orange,
laptop in.
My mother loves orange.
And it comes in purple. I just have to get more in.
Fabulous. You should see the stitching on it. And she has Blessed 24/7. But guess what? You can put your company logo right here.
Exactly.
And then for the big guy in your life, the Redskin fan, she has Blessed 24/7.
They will be this season.
Well, he is a diehard fan.
Okay.
And check this out, matching hat.
Yeah.
Great product.
And I sold out of those in the springtime last year.
And let me say this before I forget. You go up to size.
I can go up to a 10X.
10X, you hear me? No size too big or too small, just for you here.
10X.
She even has some for them Dallas fans too.
Now, for my Greek brothers and sisters, look, she does printing for you also. This says Kappa Daddy. I know my dad's watching. So these are Kappa slippers. I will not be coming home with these. However, Father's Day is coming up, Daddy.
Oh, yeah.
And then you and Mom will be celebrating 50 years of marriage, so some great ideas. And for my Delta girls, I didn't leave you out. Here is a Delta bag with all the...
And that's a shoe bag.
It's a shoe bag.
It's a shoe bag.
Now, I can use it as a lunch bag or whatever I needed, but she had other Greek items represented. However, I live with a Kappa and a Delta, so I had to represent.
There you go.
Because that's Mommy and Daddy, so I had to take care of them. And of course, I love this. You're always looking for a gift for your pastor or first lady. They have matching hand towels printed, and you can get them in any color.
Yes, you get them any color and personalized.
It's nothing like it. It takes a minute to invest, and you can put it for your pastor and your first lady. So we got you covered.
And we do free gift wrapping all year long.
Y'all, she has some wonderful bags in here that she puts your items in. They make great lunch bags. I mean, you know how you get the bags and they tell you before you get to the car. Not these bags. These bags are fabulous.
Yeah.
And these are just bags that you put your items in. So can you imagine the quality for her business? And she has a wide, vast array of things here. We just showed you a little bit. But she has notebooks, pen and pencil sets, watches, his or her watches. And we can go on and on and on. But like I said, we're going to come back and do a whole hour with
That would be great.
So we're going to have a great time. But thank you so much for coming over and letting us come into your
That's what we do here. That is what we do here.
Bless you.
Love what I do, so I can't help it.
Well, thank you. Well, we're going to switch you guys out.
Okay.
We're going to have Miss Teresa come in and have you meet Miss T.
Oh, right. You want me to go and take these?
Oh, thank you. I do appreciate that.
Now, is Miss T going to wear some hats for
She's
us?
going to wear some hats for us, and she's going to do her thing with the attitude.
Thank you. Oh, okay, she has one.
Okay, so we're really going to get into this, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to keep it going. We're not going to go to commercial today. Check this out. So we're talking about hats, of course. I need to wear a hat for the show. I posted that I was going to do some things. So is this set right? I don't have a mirror in front of me. Baby boy says it's okay. Come on, Miss T. Come on in. How are you?
Hi, Sister LaVonne. How are you? You look marvelous.
Oh, of course.
You look marvelous.
Welcome. Welcome to Try a Little Tenderness.
Try a little tenderness.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. You look gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. You can get this here. Designs by Teresa.
Hi there. Hi there. Well, you know, I'm Miss T, Miss Teresa. Some people call me Miss Banks. But when I put my hat on, I become the hat diva.
The hat diva. Look at her.
I become the hat diva.
Is she that fabulous?
the hat diva.
I'm so excited.
I have a little poem that I say when I perform.
Mm-hmm.
If I might be allowed to share it with you.
Yes.
It says, when you look at me, the first thing you see will probably be my hat. Big or small, short or tall, a hat is where it's at. Whether it's fancy, plain, for sun or the rain, you can always be sure that through time, through space, throughout the whole human race, there'll always be the trace of a hat. Now, sometimes you probably wonder where I got the style. You think it's quite attractive and just the proper size. Someone would love to have one, and that's a simple fact. So wherever they go, folks want to know, girl, where did you get that hat?
Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Coming in here will make a difference in your life. My goodness, I am so excited to have you
And you
here.
can be as down as you want to be, as up as you want to be, but when you put a hat on your head, honey, your whole attitude changes. You develop what we call attitude and diva-tude.
Oh, now listen, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna work up to, because she has we got a whole section just dedicated for attitude. And I was laughing because when I was typing my notes, I said, "Well, how do you spell attitude?" But I put hat and attitude, and
that's all you do. Apostrophe attitude. That's it.
Well, before
Attitude.
we jump into it, we already stated that the Designs by Teresa is showcased here in Blessed 24/7.
Yes.
And we want to know, before we really get into attitude, what inspired you to design hats? Why did you decide to go into this?
You know, as quiet as it's kept, I was just sharing with some of our ladies. Tell them to be quiet. Some of the ladies earlier on, from the time that I was a little girl, and I realized I've got some gifts. And it took me all my life to say out loud that I'm an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an artist. It took me over 60 years to say it out loud that I am an artist, because you feel as if sometimes that you are bragging, but I'm not bragging, but I am an artist. I mean, I've always been able to create. Mm-hmm. When I was a little girl, I would go into the refrigerator and I would take eggs and I would put holes in either ends of the shells, and I would blow the egg out, and I used to be spankings about that, because I'd be throwing away food that we needed, because we were poor folks. Not poor, but po. P-O/ we couldn't even afford the O and the R to make it poor. We were just po in general. And I would draw faces on these eggshells, and I would find little bits of fabric and little bits of stuff, and I would create hats. I would make hats when I was about 7, 8, 9 years old. And this kind of that's when I really first started doing this thing with the hats. I just always liked to just create. And then as time went on, when I went to high school, I wanted to be a commercial artist when I came out of high school. But being a woman, and a quote-unquote colored woman, because at that particular time we were not African Americans, we were colored.
Yes.
I'm more than 60 years old. We were colored. That was not an option, and especially for women, and especially for women in general, and it's particularly African American women. Mm-hmm. So I say in my bio that my art became domesticated. I started designing wedding dresses. I designed headpieces. I designed wedding cakes. I did floral arrangements. A lot of people don't even know that. For many years, that's the way I made a living, raising a family as a single mom. And but I always made hats. Always, never actually forgot or got away from the hat making. And so, therefore, after I went through the whole spectrum of designing everything else, I created a business. I used to have a business called Weddings, etc. But I always did the etc., which was the hat making. Mm-hmm. And as that evolved into a whole, business, it became more and more hats, and then more and more hats. And then it just got to the point where I just kind of stopped sewing altogether, unless it was a special occasion. And I just started just doing hats, just creating hats. I can redo, take it down, break it down, do whatever I have to do, and do hats.
Wow. Well, let me ask you this before we go into it, because it really touched me what you just said, that you were 16 years old before you can call yourself
an artist out loud. Yes.
Why?
Because I was raised. I'm a modest person, because the stuff that I did it. I didn't have any formal training. I went to college, but for something else. I was an English major, French major in college. I didn't go to college to learn to do The things that I do with the hats and the don't, it's a gift. It's a gift. It's a gift from God. Simple as that. It's a gift. I mean, I have had people send me pictures and wanted me to create a hat, but it was a gift. It was truly a gift. I didn't. And I was raised in that, you know, you don't say things out loud as a woman again because you're bragging. And I'm like, you know, once I did what I had to do and I had the satisfaction of knowing that it was done, it was a done deal. I didn't even have to see it anymore. I didn't even take pictures of stuff that I did. I kid you not. Many years I never took pictures. I just did it, and it was a done deal. And everybody oohed and awed. The bride has the pictures. They have the pictures, and I didn't even bother to take pictures. That's just how you know, I guess how do you say it?
Humble.
I guess humble, humility, or whatever. And people go, "Oh my God, this is gorgeous. Oh, I love this." But it was just me. I think I suffer with temperamental artist syndrome. Once I had the satisfaction of seeing it made and done, I didn't have to see it again. But then you realize people wanted to see what you could do. People wanted to see what you could do.
Wow. Well, you know what? We're going to actually start on Mrs. T's Facebook page, the Hat of the Week. And so what I think I'm going to do, and I need somebody to remind me to do it, once we start that page for you with the Hat of the Week, we're going to put out a plea for every hat that you've made that was in a wedding or something, and you know Miss T made the hat. We want you to take a picture of it and send it to us so we can have a history.
Wow,
we can start
that's
a history,
amazing.
a souvenir book for you
That's
and your
amazing.
work, just to honor you, because your work is beautiful and your work is life changing. Because like you said, when you put on the hat, you have a different
Don't you have
attitude.
you developed the attitude and you developed that diva-tude. I don't care how down in the dumps you might feel. It's like a whole new, you know.
Because it's a different thing when
It's
you
a different.
carry a hat.
Yes,
Because again, it's your crown and
it's
you're
your
wearing
crown,
it.
and we are princesses and queens.
Yes, yes.
Princesses and queens.
I love it. I love it. Just want to make sure I have everything going before we go into attitude. Now, just for you to share with us, what was the lesson that you happened to have learned this past year, 2011, that you would share with Try Little Tenderness audience?
The lesson that I've learned in the last year is, oh my heavens, you have to take each day, one day at a time, and you have to trust God that no matter how bad things might seem, that He will, if He brings you to it, He will bring you through it.
Oh my goodness.
He will bring you through it.
My first lady says that. That was her thing last year. He'll bring you to it, he'll bring you through it.
Bring you through it. I had an incident last year. My year started off wonderfully well. I was blessed to be able to come into the shop. I think 2 years after my 65th birthday, we came into Blessed 24/7 Design Specialties and Blessed 24/7 partner. And somebody will say, 65 years old? I mean, you retired? No, you know, I don't even know what I want to be when I grow up yet. I am still searching for whatever it is that God wants me to be. Mm-hmm. As simple as that. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And I know you say, no, she's crazy. But no, God always has something in store for you. Always has something in store for you. And I'm saying that to say that last year was a difficult year for me. In May of last year, my back went out on me. I mean, I was literally bent over in a 45-degree angle. I could not even stand up. And I went through this crisis. God was able to put me with a good orthopedist, and I went through this crisis. And it was very frightening because when I perform, I'm on my feet. Mm-hmm. And when I'm in the shop, I have to be on my feet. Right. But, you know, you have to trust and know that whatever you do, you think you're bad off, there's always somebody worse off than you. True. Now, that's one thing I've also learned. I've learned that's you know, no matter how bad you think you are. That reminds me of a song that a woman at my church sings all the time. She says, I'm blessed, better than blessed. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Lord. And there's a refrain that says, I once complained because I had no shoes, and then I saw a man that had no feet to use. And I get filled up when I hear that song because, you know, we Christians, quote unquote, we are so selfish. Mm-hmm. We are so selfish. All we think about is
me right now.
Me and right now. And my favorite verse from the Bible comes from the 27th song. It says, wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and He shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. And I always add, he may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. Always on time. That was one thing that kind of taught me a lesson last year, because I was really afraid that I was going to have surgery. But I'm here to tell you, it might take me a few minutes to get straight up in the morning, but I'm here.
Okay.
Another life-changing scenario last year was my daughter developed thyroid cancer. I was devastated. But you know, she believes, and she was a real soldier during this scenario. But you know, nobody likes to think that you're going to lose a child, or your child is going to go before you go. Nobody wants to have that feeling. That was all. And again, my selfish side, my human side, and if you're telling the truth, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
My human side was thinking about, oh my God, me. But then I had to realize my baby was going through. It wasn't me, but our selfish side. And I just learned, just like she said when she came to tell me that the test came back and she did have thyroid cancer. Before she left, and I'm like, my whole heart dropped, and she looked at me, my face, and she said, but God is still good. God is still good. And we embraced and we prayed together right here in this shop. That was another life lesson for me. And right here to this day, my daughter is a tremendous gospel singer. She had not been able to sing, and about 2 Sundays ago, she was able to sing at church. And I cried because I'm so thankful. I'm just so thankful that she knows God.
Amen.
I'm so thankful that she knows God.
God
just so thankful.
Still so good. Didn't I not tell you, you come to this gift shop or we come to see Miss Teresa, that you're going to leave out with a smile, that you don't have to come in to purchase, but you come in for prayer, for a hug.
Now, but hugs are free now. You know hugs are free. Hugs are free. Now, hugs are definitely free, and the only charge you have is that you got to pass it on. We don't give out hugs just because. You are charged to pass it on.
Amen.
And everybody who comes into this shop gets a hug before they leave here.
I tell you,
on a daily basis.
Try Little Tennis. We're going to bring the best of the best to you. These ladies are absolutely wonderful. Now, I don't want to lose any time. She's just going to give us a little excerpts of what she does for Attitude with this. And do you need Mike to bring the things over?
Oh, you know what, Mike? Can you bring these boxes over? A couple of these boxes over for me, please.
And so,
basically, Attitude and History is it's more of a it's like these boxes right here. A couple of them. It's a I tell a story. I tell African American women's history, focusing on period hats, from the caveman to the diva. No, these right here, sweetheart. These right here. From the caveman to the diva. I tell this story because, you know, as African American women, we have always had hats in our lives. From the time that we were little people, that's over there, to the time, you know, you go to Sunday school, you had your little Sunday gloves on, your little socks on with the little lace on them. Yeah. And we wore hats. We wore gloves and we wore hats. You had that little Easter hat, and this is a time of year for it. You had that little Easter hat.
Yes.
And that's what we did. And we've always had our crowns. And I don't know if you all are familiar with that play called Crowns, that was at the Arena Stage and the Lincoln Theater. For many years, I was fortunate enough actually to have be showcased during that shows at the Arena Stage and Crowns. That was a blessing for me. But that has always been an integral part of our lives, always been an integral part of our lives. And, you know, no matter how much money or how little money we had, we put those pennies to the side and save that money to just save up a little bit of money so that we could have a little bit of cash on hand so we could buy that hat.
Right.
Coat and all. We did. That was just something that we did. But anyway, my presentation, Attitude and History, is basically a story from the caveman to the diva. And what I do is I share this story about how we came over on the ships. I tell the story from the time of the caveman walking around out here in this blank, dirty, wet, dark, wet place, looking for something to make ourselves a hat to keep us warm. And as I tell this story, I talk, and I'm going to share just a few little snippets from it. I talk about how, God creating the heavens and the earth. The Bible tells us all this.
Right.
And then you have this lowly little caveman dweller walking around. And see, hats have been around. Whether he waited just for something that he could put on his head to keep his head warm. And I'm going to tell you a few little snippets just to tease. And you have a cave dweller trying to kill something, a dinosaur or a mastodon or something. A mastodon is a predecessor of an elephant, great big hairy thing.
Yeah.
Trying to kill himself something to make himself a hat. And his hat would probably look something like this.
That is a hat.
It's a hat.
That is a hat.
That's a caveman's hat.
Everybody see Miss T?
That's a caveman's hat. First evolution. First little skin. And when I share this story, I want it to be funny, but I want you to learn a historical kind of thing.
Right.
And then we come to a period where we hear about Adam and Eve in that Garden of Eden, being naked and the serpent coming out. You all know the story. I don't have to tell you. We all went to Sunday school. And you always saw pictures of Adam and Eve being naked. Of course, you know, I can't get naked.
No,
but
I know we're internet. But
no, we can't do it. We can't get the naked thing. I like to have humor. Because when I perform, I want it to be humorous, but I want it to be real. And then you hear about Adam and Eve in that garden, and you always saw them as something on their heads.
You surely did.
Adam and Eve's hat.
Wow.
Now, also when I do the presentation, I sing. I don't just tell the story. I actually have songs that I sing. Now, I'm going to just skip over a little bit, and I'm going to bring you to that time when we African-American folks in the mother country being snatched up and brought to this new place called America on these ships, these slave ships. And we were here. We were royal people. We were queens. We were kings. We were princesses in the mother country. And they snatched us up and brought us here and made us assimilate. But you know what? God had that all under control. And He had us to come here. And, you know, we were working in the fields. We were slaves, bottom line. No other way to say it. And, you know, we had to give up our identities. We had to give up our identities. We were slaves.
Yeah.
But you know, we did not forget everything because we had little things to remind us of whence we had come. And as I tell this part of the story, I tell them how and I'm going to sing this one song from me because it's so touching. It's called, Lord, How Come Me Here? This is a lament of a slave who is crying out to God, why am I in this new place? And it goes something like this. Lord, why come me here? Lord, why come me here? Lord, why come me here? I wish I never was born. They treat me so mean here, Lord. They treat me so mean here, Lord. They treat me so mean here, Lord. I wish I never was born. They sold away all my children. They sold away all my children. They sold away all my children. I wish I never was born. There ain't no freedom here, Lord. There ain't no freedom here, Lord. There ain't no freedom here, Lord. I wish I never was born. Now, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? From the heart. And this is what we had to endure. But you know what? God in His infinite wisdom knew that we could only take but a little bit. And so He allowed us to be able to escape. We have such women coming down like Harriet Tubman in that Underground Railroad. And I know you've heard about the Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad was a series of trails and hidden pathways up north and into freedom. Sister Harriet was a Union spy. and she ran that Underground Railroad. Little bitty old lady with a great big old gun. And Sister Harriet said she would have freed many more of us had we known we were slaves. But we didn't even know that we were slaves at the time. But you know what? God still had all that in control, and we were able to get on up a little higher, and we became cooks. We became sharecroppers, owned our own little pieces of land, and we worked again for the white man. But the wives and the women stayed at home and took care of the family place. And while the husbands was out
Oh, that's a hat.
working for the white man, we wives were home tending the family plot. We wives were home tending the family plot. We washed. A lot of people don't even know what this is.
Washboard.
Little old washboard. We washed our clothes on this little old washboard. Washed our clothes on this little washboard. And then, when time of night came around, we went to church. We played this little washboard as our music. We played this washboard. And we thought about how we had come from, and we just had to thank the Lord, and we sang, Lord, I thank you, thank you, thank you. I thank you, thank you, thank you. I thank you all the days of my life. Lord, I thank you, thank you, thank you. I thank you, thank you, thank you. I thank you all the days of my life. And then we got a little farther on down the road, and I tell the ladies and the gentlemen when I perform that we women, African American women, began to make history in our hats. For instance, in I'm just going to tell you a few little people that I love and I love to talk about. 1939, around that area, we became the first African American to license to fly a plane. A woman by the name of Sister Bessie Coleman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sister Bessie saved her money, moved to France, got herself a pilot's license. Came back to the United States, but because she was a woman and a colored woman, we were still colored then, we were not African Americans.
Yeah.
She came back to the States, and she could not get a job. She wanted to open a flight school, but she couldn't get a job because she was a colored woman. And she ended up dying in a circus accident, a freak accident. She was doing the tricks out there on those biplanes.
Right.
She ended up dying because she fell off of one of those biplanes. That was one of our first historical figures. Then, many, many years later, the 90s, Sister Mae Jameson, the first African American woman in space.
Yeah.
I was reading an article a couple of weeks ago. American Airlines had their first all-female African-American flight crew. The first lieutenant, the captain, and the two stewardesses all at one time. The first all African-American flight crew, females, women. And I talk about women's history because we don't hear a lot about women's history. You hear the men, what men did. Back in the day, I'm an older person. You know, you had Negro History Week.
Right.
Now we got African American History Month, Black History Month. Look, we need to have Black History year long because we've done so many things. We have done so many things. And the women get lost in the shuffle. There's so many women that have done things. We hear about such women as Marian Anderson, the first African American woman to sing, the first African American to sing at the White House.
That is her hat. Yeah.
Sister Marian Anderson, the first African American to sing at the White House. We hear about Sister Mary McLeod Bethune, the first African American woman to have a statue erected here in this city, federal statue in Washington Park, Lincoln Park. She was a great educator, founder of the Bethune-Cookman College, great educator. We hear about such women. Marian Anderson, as I said, the first African American to sing at the White House. Sister Marian was also the first African American to have a permanent position with the Metropolitan Opera. But again, Sister Marian had to go overseas and come back to America to get this position.
Right.
Sister Marian was supposed to have sung at the Constitution Hall, 1939. However, because she was a colored woman, again, and I keep emphasizing because that's what we were.
Right.
Not to take anything, but that's what we were at that time.
History.
That's our history. Sister Marian was supposed to sing at Constitution Hall. However, Sister Marian could not sing there when they found out she was a colored woman. And but God always has a ram in the bush. And that particular time, the ram was none other than Sister Eleanor Roosevelt. Sister Eleanor stepped up, withdrew her membership in the DAR, and arranged for Sister Marion to sing a concert on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial Easter Sunday morning, 1939.
Mm.
And as Sister Marion stepped out on that step to that Lincoln Memorial, and I shared it. I'm not a singer for real, but I can get the message across. Sister Marion was so overwhelmed because she said that when she looked out and saw all those people that had come to see her, she was just overwhelmed. And she talks about this in her autobiography entitled "My Lord, What a Morning." And she says that as I stepped out on the steps of that Lincoln Memorial that day, I was overwhelmed, and then I had to open my mouth and I had to sing. And she sang, "My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing, land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring." Sister Marian Anderson.
Mm.
And I'm not a singer for real, but I tell my audiences, nobody can beat me trying, though. But you get the message. When I tell the message, I want the message to be humorous, but I want it to be engrossing enough that you can remember what I'm talking about. And I also say that I'm just sharing a few of the people with you that I talk about, and then we come to that point where we women began to come into our own.
Mm-hmm.
And women, we began to be able to save up a little money and be able to buy hats and do hats like we really wanted to do.
Right.
And we began to kind of put on a little styling and a little profiling kind of thing in our hats.
Yeah.
And the hats evolved over the years. And back in the 50s, we would wear something like this. We would wear something like this. And as we got a little more money and our pockets got a little better, our hats began to grow. And we would wear something maybe like this.
Wow.
And then back in the 70s and 80s, everybody with the broad shoulders and the big shoulder pads. And we would put on something that looked like a little like this.
Love it.
And then we got to the point where we would try to outdo each other in the hats.
Yeah.
And we started being divas in our hats.
Baby,
Sit one of these down. Yeah. And we would start coming up in church so people could see us late in our hats. Okay? And each Sunday, somebody would pop up in there with a fancy hat on.
Wow, then make sure you come into the frame so they can see it all. That is a hat.
Somebody would come up in church with a fancy hat on.
Yeah.
And then somebody would see that hat, and the next Sunday, somebody had to outdo that. And you had to come late now. You know why you had to come late? So everybody could see you.
Right.
And then the next Sunday,
I forgot I was coming back.
the next Sunday you come in late. Generally in the Baptist church, service starts at 11. You come in 11:15. You know the drill. And each Sunday, something gets more and more and more over the top. Until finally, you have someone that comes in at noon. Later than everybody else.
I love that. My God, that's a hat.
Later than everybody else.
So you can see her
So
hat.
you can see her hat. Now, she generally has the gloves, the handkerchief, and the flower to match. But I'm not going to do all that to you because I want you to see my show live so you can see the whole spill just like it is.
Right.
And this is when you call the triple D. You come in at noon.
That
Service is almost over. Come all the way down to the front with your tambourine, making a lot of noise. The usher shows you to the back of the church. You ain't sitting in the back. You want to come all the way down the front to serve everybody in the congregation. And you got to speak, "How you doing, sis? Hallelujah." How you doing, sis? Hallelujah. I heard your dog was sick. How he doing, sis? All the way down to the front. And then we become divas. And I usually tell the audience that at the very end of my piece, I'm just showing you little snippets, just enough to tease you, that we women are special. As you can clearly see, and we can be most anything that we desire to be. But yet we're still mothers, daughters, nieces, and aunts. Sometimes we play the father role and even wear the pants. We can calm our fussy babies at our breast and still manage to look awesome in that special dress. But when we put that hat on, my oh my, divas we become, pleasing to the eye. Now them shoes might be a little too tight, and them spikes and them girdles too, you know what I'm talking about.
Indeed.
But with that awesome hat on, no one ever knew. So the next time you see a sister in that special hat, remember, she's merely expressing her divitude, attitude when she wears it like that. And as you observe her proudly turn around, make no mistake about it, God has her feet planted firmly on the ground. And then I have the ladies to repeat after me, I am a diva.
I am a diva.
I am a diva.
I am a diva.
I am a true diva.
I am a true diva.
I am a divine, intelligent, virtuous, abundantly blessed sister in the spirit.
I am a diva.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I thank you, Ms. T. And I just want you to say a couple of things before we go off the air. You made this hat?
No, I did not. Well, actually, I added some stuff to it. I did some. No, this is not one of my original designs.
But you can make this.
Oh, absolutely.
Hat. She can make
I can make anything you want. I can make you a car if you want it.
She can make this hat. She didn't make this one, but she can make you a hat just like this. And a couple of things I want to point out. Your next major event will be on the 31st of March.
Yeah, we're having our fashion show, hat fair, and luncheon right here at the shop. We're inviting. It's a free event. We have we're old school. We got like your Friday night fish fry to pay the rent. We got a little cookie jar out on the table for donations. We have a ball. Okay. We have an awesome time.
Now the address here.
9171 Central Avenue, Capitol Heights, Maryland. Second floor, Suite L6.
Suite L6 at Kingdom Square.
Kingdom Square Mall.
The Suite L6 you want to come to.
It's formerly Hampton Mall, because when you say Kingdom Square, a lot of people are old school. They know Hampton Mall, but they really don't know Kingdom Square.
Well, Hampton Mall, we're going to get the name out there, and we're going to help them out, too. We're all about networking, but definitely the old Hampton Mall, but now presently called Kingdom Square. They're in Suite L6.
L6.
Come on up and see the showcase. Miss Teresa has a wonderful showcase, and I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask this. Are you available for churches or other events to come out and teach attitude?
Absolutely. I love it. I enjoy sharing the story. And a lot of people say, I had a lady to call me yesterday, and she said, well, I mean something for the men. I said, let me say this to you. I find that the men enjoyed sometimes more than the women. I had a gentleman to say to me some time ago that, sis, I didn't even want to come to this event. He said, but I enjoyed myself so much. The only reason I came is because my wife made me. He said, I am so glad I came. He said, I have learned so much today. He said, I have learned stuff I never knew. He said, and not only that, you are funny. I don't know why they think I'm funny, but we just have a good time. We have a good time. I think that laughter is the best medicine and the best teacher when you're trying to get a point across. However, my show, I tell you, I just showcase a few things because I have a whole list of people that I talk about, particularly Sister Michelle Obama, our first African-American First Lady. She's a special person. I talk about the first African-American to become Surgeon General of the United States of America, Jocelyn Elders. I talk about so many African-American firsts that people don't even know that women, first accomplishments, the first African-American to win an Academy Award, Sister Hattie McDaniel, right, for Gone with the Wind. So many, many, many facts. Women's history has kind of gone unnoticed, right, in general. And if you listen to what's going on in politics today, they're trying to put us back, black and white women, back into the Stone Age again. Right. With all the talk in the media, with the parties bickering, and you know the party I'm talking about. Right. They're trying to put women back in the Stone Age. If you left it to them, you would not have any control over your money. your body, your finances, nothing, because they're or nothing. They're just putting us back in the
Stone Age.
to Stone Age again. It's almost frightening. We didn't even get to vote, black or white, until many years after the men got to vote.
Right.
So we have to stay on our P's and Q's and mind God and let Him do His job. But we also have to make sure that we, as women, do not allow our rights to be taken from us, because that's where we're headed at this point.
I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I know we weren't able to air the show on Tuesday, and that's why I was really pressing to make sure that I got Miss Teresa in this week, because this is Women's History Month.
Yes, I forgot to mention that.
And I wanted to really highlight all the women. You know, we had Vicki Johnson, Elder Vicki Johnson on, talking about finances, how you can change your life. And then we came in here and had Wanda, now Miss T. But we focused on women all this month because it is Women's History. And it's so important to me, and it should be important to you, that you know your history. You should know the shoulders that you're standing on. And I just said I had to share Miss T with the world right here on Tribal Attendance, because when I do come in, she changes my life. She encourages me. She gives me strength to go on, and every now and then I think I'm a help to her. Even if it's just a simple
absolutely.
But every now and then, I'm just coming in just to say hi, not always to buy something. You might see something while you're in here, and I tell you, I spotted a beautiful bracelet that I will be showing Big Daddy before we leave. But oh Lord, she has wonderful things here in the store. Please come in. We're going to get her Facebook page up and going. We're going to have the hat of the week, and come in. And if the hat is already sold before you get here,
trust me, there's something else that you can buy.
There are more hats here, and of course she will make them for you. And again, we're going to put the plea out. If Miss T has ever designed anything for you, just please take a picture of it and bring it up here to Kingdom Square to Blessed 24/7 and hand it to Miss T and said, do you know 20 years ago I was a bride and you did my headpiece, and whatever it is, you might think it's small, but I'm telling you, it's going to be such a blessing.
It would be a blessing. It really would be a blessing. As I said, I didn't really take a lot of pictures because it was not, quote unquote, that important at that
time. It wasn't important at the time, and then that's because you know how the enemy will trick you. And then for her to share her testimony of not even verbally acknowledging that she was an artist until she was actually 60 years old. There are so many people sitting on their gifts. So I see that we're down to the wire. I love you guys so much. Thank you for logging in on Try a Little Tenderness.
And I want to say thank you for having me. I hope that I have inspired somebody to do something today. And I love your hat. Girl, where'd you get that hat?
I got that designed by Teresa.
Where'd you get that hat?
Thanks for coming to Try a Little Tenderness. Love you, baby.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Got a great surprise for you Tuesday night. Follow us on Facebook and see what we're doing and what we're going to be having on. Love you guys.
Oh, you are too special.